An award-winning author, Chidiamamda Ngozi Adichie, has written a letter to the United States of America. He write letter go give Joe Biden. In his letter titled Hallowed Democracy, or Nigeria's Hallowed Democracy, in his letter, she write to the US telling them why are they acting as two-facedness nation. You know, America don't condemn the Democratic Republic of Congo of their not being democratic in their political affair. Yet, they are endorsing Tinubu by congratulating them as the rightful winner of the 2023 presidential election, which they know evidentially that the mandate does not belong to him. In our own quests, what are the US trying to stand for? And we all know people have been saying concerning US that they like people or that they like nation where they suck from. We know in the time past, for months, they don't congratulate Tinubu. Only God knows what went behind the scenes. Some people are saying that Tinubu said he was going to concentrate, or he will be concentrating on China if eventually he is sworn in. Now, it looks as if America are trying to lobby themselves. But here, the reason for this video is to let us know this is an individual who knows her right and who is super intelligent. How can she be acting more than the country? I just want you to watch her video and look at the words she said. She wrote this in a magazine, I think in Atlanta, and I believe by now, Joe Biden and all the authorities of the United States of America have read this news or this magazine or article. Just look at what she said. She titled it Nigeria's Hallowed Democracy. That what I've seen now is something that is actually going not just to deplete the interest and the integrity of the nation, but it will go a long way to rule the nation. Just watch the video, like, share, and comment. Thank you. And for Chidima, nice one. Nice one. I give you a thumb up.
So let's get straight into it, because you called the 2023 presidential election a slap to the face of the Nigerian people and insults to the collective intelligence of Nigerians. Tell us why you see it that way.
Well, I see that when I wrote that letter, because I think it's important to preserve the truth. Right? I think that when something like this happens in a country, it's really important to tell the story of what happened. One of my favorite poems has this line. It's by Robert Lowell, and it says, "And yet, why not say what happened?" So I wanted to say what happened. And what happened is that this was an election that was really unforgivably flawed, and there's evidence for that. And I felt it was important to say that. But also, I wanted to call out the US for what I consider a kind of two-facedness when it comes to Africa. So, the US has a long history of complicity in, sort of non-democratic elections on this continent. So recently in Congo, 2 or 3 years ago, they endorsed an election that was an absolute sham. But then the same US will turn around and criticize Congo for not being democratic. And so my point was to say, be what you say you are, right? You cannot criticize African countries for being undemocratic while at the same time endorsing something that is quite self-evidently undemocratic.
Well, that's a good point. But just delving deeper into your letter, you were quite categorical in saying that the electoral process was imperiled not by technical shortcomings, but by deliberate manipulation. Is there enough evidence in your assessment to support that claim?
Yes, and I think maybe the most glaring is that we Nigerians all saw these mutilated election sheets, right? We all saw them. We saw polling unit agents talking about how what they had from the polling unit was not what was then announced formally, officially, or uploaded formally, officially. And I think for me, that's a really striking reason and an example of how this election was not about technical glitches. And can we also realize that Nigeria is full of very bright young people in tech? There's no reason for that excuse of technical glitch. And the other question then is, if it was a technical glitch, why was it possible for most people to upload the results of the other federal elections, but not the presidential? And I think most of all is that there's just been this resounding unfortunate silence from INEC and from the chair of INEC. I think Nigerians deserve the respect of an institution that's supposed to shepherd their democracy. So nobody's come out to explain to Nigerians how that happened. You know, there's a statement about technical glitches. It's unconvincing. And knowing how much hope and trust that Nigerians invested in this election, knowing that Nigeria is a low-trust society, means, I think, that if people really are sincere and there's really nothing to hide, then you make an extra effort to go out and explain to Nigerians what happened.
Yes, that certainly makes a lot of sense to a lot of people. But in reacting to your letter, and some of the things that you said in it, the APC have suggested that you were not in Nigeria during the election and you did not vote, and therefore should not make categorical statements about an election you did not witness. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I don't think it's very useful criticism. I should say, first of all, that I've never been fazed by criticism. I mean, I wrote this, of course, knowing fully well that there would be criticism from certain quarters. And I've seen a few things people have sent to me, and it's kind of been amusing to read the juvenile fulminations of non-juvenile people. But that said, I actually did try very hard. And I should say, I have two homes. I have a home here in Lagos. I have a home in the US. I'm very often here. I tried very hard to get my PVC. And the reason I tried very hard is because I had been assured that technology would save us. Right, that it had worked in Oshun, worked in Ekiti, and I think in Anambra, that it would save us. And so I really tried. And we should also talk about how difficult it was to collect PVCs and how that in itself is a form of voter disenfranchisement. And so I had done the first part, but then I couldn't collect my PVC. And so, yes, did not vote. But my not voting does not mean that I cannot comment on an election. I'm a Nigerian citizen. Every Nigerian citizen has a right to have an opinion about this election. And so when people say that BVAS worked, but IREV didn't work, which is sort of a way of countering the accusation that technology